looking at the Bikey Quick Start, or I'm sorry, Essential courses here, we will have two different versions of Essential courses at the start of the program. Version 1 will have 34 different languages in it, and it's an 8-step learning process using the Bikey declarative learning process that we just saw there. Focus, basic travel, survival skills. We'll also have an assessment. This is more in depth than the Quick Start program. This is sort of an intermediary program between the Quick Start and what is version 2 of Bikey Essentials. Version 2 will have 37 of the most popular languages. The focus is on conversation skills here. There are 11 different units of study, average between 500 to 600 different items per language that you'll be learning. It's set up in the form of units, as you can see here, and each of these units are going to have 3 different lessons, and each of those lessons are going to have multiple steps. So we're not going to go too deep in here, but I am going to show you just exactly how the lesson plan follows through. So as you can see, we have our expected performance outcomes here. So we can be expected after completing Unit 1 to be able to use common and formal familiar greetings, politely ask for something, get acquainted with someone, state that you've been hurt, express your wants, ask for directions, and use basic communication facilitation phrases. So moving into the program, as you can see here, we're going to be using some of the Bikey learning method, but it's a little bit more integration into pronunciation. So we have our lesson number 1 has 7 different learning steps to it. Lesson 2, again 7. Lesson 3, 7 more, and then we have our assessment. So some of these, as you'll see, let's go and look. I'm just going to pull out a few that you might like. We integrate some kind of fun play exercises integrated into this lesson plan. So familiar with this 4 squares, basically it's a concentration type game. So I'm looking at the cards as they're flipping, and por favor. Okay. Another different exercise here. Let's flip back. We have what we call game show, which we're actually going to be on the clock here, testing ourselves. We're going to be given letters, and we're going to have a time frame to solve the puzzle here. So I think I know what this is. I think it's necesito. I don't know if I'm going to spell it right. Let's see if I get it right. Nope. Let's see if I got it. No, okay, wrong. I just spelled it wrong. I did get it right. Okay, so and then some other things, some advanced pronunciation speech here. We're integrating the Bikey learning method. We have dictation exercises, more advanced writing exercises. We also have a really nice utility here. I'll pull up. This matches, where you're going to be matching a picture with a phrase. Well, okay. This is going to be a little too long of an exercise to show you for this demonstration. Anyway, so Bikey Essentials. Again, when I finish this, all of these steps of this exercise, all 3 lessons to this unit, I should be able to communicate based on the learning objectives that I was given at the beginning there. Let's look at Spanish reference. So Spanish reference has some cultural and information about the language, about Spanish. We have what are called language learning tips. These are videos. These are not grammar videos, but they're tips on how to learn the language. Alphabet Explorer, which is an alphabet utility if you want to start to learn to read the language or spell. Great utility. We have textual grammar tips built into this, and we also have grammar tip videos, which are 50 to 60 different grammar lessons in video format, and then grammar reference, which is textual. So let's go start our learning process here. And for this exercise, I want to point out another thing that we can do. We can actually bring this screen up. We can push everything around the outside here back. So let's enlarge our learning screen for this particular lesson, and we can just fill it up. That's another improvement over the Bikey learning method, where you had the work in a box within the framework of the website. So we have our language learning overview, and when this is kind of a truncated version, we have 6 slides here. It's probably be in the Spanish language something like 20. So each of these are going to be giving us a little bit of information, dialects of Spanish, cultural reference, cultural tips, and things like that. We also have our language learning tip videos, and we'll look at one of these. So down the bottom here, again, there'll probably be 30 to 40 in Spanish language learning tip videos. So let's take a quick peek of what one of these will look like.
What is color in Spanish?
El color.
What's idea in Spanish?
La idea.
And what's negative in Spanish?
Negativo.
Well, if all Spanish words were such close relatives to English words, they would be far easier to learn. These types of words, united by a common heritage, are called cognates. Here are some others.
El hospital.
Hospital.
El chocolate.
Chocolate.
El hotel.
Hotel.
La farmacia.
Pharmacy.
La familia.
Family.
El teatro.
Theater. Note that, although the Spanish word may look the same and mean the same as the English word, the pronunciation may be far different.
Okay, so just some language learning tips. We have our Alphabet Explorer here. This is going to give us the ability to listen to the pronunciation of individual letters of the alphabet and also combine them with other letters to get joined symbol sounds. So let's look at the ah. So that's pronounced the same way either way. We have our explanation of the letter here. We also can join it with another letter and listen to that pronunciation.
Se.
So there's two different pronunciations of the C there. Okay, the final Spanish reference that I'll show you here is the grammar lesson videos. Again, 50 to 60 lesson videos. All of this is grammar related. Title's abbreviated version. So as you can see here, we have a number of different lessons to go through. Okay, so let's minimize that. And let's look at one last aspect of Transparent Language for Libraries, the Explore tab. Now the Explore tab is going to allow us to kind of step out of the formal language learning and get into the social world of language learning. So we have a language culture blog, we have something called Word of the Day, we have our Spanish, our Facebook and Twitter and YouTube communities, which are growing hugely. We've gone past our 1 millionth fan of our language learning communities now. Proficiency tests and our new mobile version here. So looking at the culture blog, I'm not much of a blogger in my regular life, but these are actually professionally managed blogs by Transparent, so the people that write them live and work in the countries where the language is spoken. So you're going to get a focus on learning the language mostly in these blogs, but also some cultural things, some maybe a little bit of information about a holiday in that country or a recipe for some food or something, but mostly you're going to see, as you can see here, a lot of these are about the learning of the language of that country. We have a nice little utility called Word of the Day. This is something optional. If your patrons want to subscribe to it, they can get it through email, they can get it through RSS feed, they can get it through a number of different ways. Every day they get a new letter or new word in the language that they're speaking. So today's word is adelantar.
Adelantar.
And here it is in a sentence.
No se puede adelantar en este tramo de carretera.
Okay, we have a nice little, some additional features here. We have Twitter search. This is actually going to go out onto Twitter and find everywhere that word is being used today, and you can actually link over to Twitter. You can also do the same cross-reference search in blog articles that are posted on the internet, so everywhere in any blog article in the Spanish language where that particular word is being used, this is going to reference it. So you can see there, I can pop it up. I also have the ability to pop out to what we call Bikey List Central. So these are other language learning lists in the traditional Bikey learning format that I could go access right now if I want. Literally, thousands of additional words, hundreds of different lists that I can go out and on my own accord access and listen to. We have our Spanish communities, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So as you can see, our Spanish Facebook community is 27,516 people. As I mentioned, we've gone over 1 million people following our Facebook communities. So if you're familiar with Facebook, you know how it works. It's a great place to meet people, to share ideas, to post comments about the language learning. And this is an international sort of flavor to this community. There's a lot of people that speak the Spanish language that follow it. We have proficiency tests, which if you have some background in the language that you're learning, you can go back and get kind of test yourself to see where you left off. So usually between 5 to 6 different tests, vocabulary and grammar, multiple choice. This gives you a little bit of direction on how to proceed into your learning. And then we have our mobile version. The mobile we have available for Apple smart devices, Apple iPhone, Apple iPad, and Apple iPod Touch devices, and then any Android smart device will work with Bikey Mobile. So the way to do this is you would link over to the store, the appropriate store. You would find the Bikey Community app, which is a free download. You would download that to your phone, come back to your library's website, and grab your activation code, type that in, and you would have access to 37 different languages on your iPhone or your smart device now. And this would actually, works a lot along the same lines as the Bikey learning method that we showed you earlier. All the same skills are used. It also keeps track of all of your progress. It's a very slick mobile learning experience. Well, that's it for my presentation. I really appreciate you being here with me today. If you have any questions, please reach out to your Recorded Book sales rep. They'd be happy to demonstrate the program to you further or sign you up for a trial so you can try it yourself. Thanks again.